Hey guys, it's Cerulean Jake bringing to you the final week of the regular season in the VGC Pals Draft League. This time we are up against More Better, led by Fair or Teeler. I don't really know which one he prefers to be called, just being honest. Anyway, up against this team, on an initial look, I'm just going to be honest. He just has like the scariest looking team from like the top 3 picks in the whole draft. I mean, yeah, there were a lot of people who drafted some very scary stuff, but you somehow got Fluttermane and Raging Bolt. And then, oh, by the way, let's just throw in an Amoonguss in there just for fun. This is a tough team. Now, granted, the rest of his team members are good, but they're not like up to snuff with the same of that. That's kind of how draft leagues work, is you spend a lot of points on your early picks, then you kind of gotta go a little cheaper on your other ones. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. I've certainly looked into what these guys can do, and they do threaten my team. They do threaten just period at all, like against everybody else too. They're good mons. But I've definitely been mainly focused on how am I going to deal with Flutter? How am I going to deal with Raging Bolt? How am I going to deal with Amoonguss? And you know what? I actually came up with some pretty good options. And I think you might be a little surprised by what we decided to go with. Before I jump into it, I do want to say, let's go over my possibilities of making playoffs, because it does exist. But realistically speaking, I need to 2-0 this game. If I go 2-1 or if I lose, almost invariably, I'm not making playoffs. Even if I do get 2-0 in this game, it's entirely possible that other people will also win their games, and they already have the point advantage on me. So I might not even make it, even if I do the best I possibly can. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go ahead and get in the team builder, and I think you'll understand some of my picks a little bit better if you understand what I had on my mind. So, starting things off, we're bringing this Cerule Edge. I am tired of misplaying my Cerule Edge. I am tired of bringing him in just so he can get killed. Nope, we are playing this guy, and we are going to win with him. I swear, please, just let me do good by you. So, what's the idea behind Cerule Edge? Well, he actually does have a pretty good matchup into this. It's not really that, oh, I gotta bring Cerule Edge because he's my team mascot and I love him so much. Well, actually, he does good here. That's why we're bringing him. Terra Grass allows him to not only resist his typical, it's the same as usual, his best possible Terra, but on top of that, going against Amoonguss, we just shut down all of that Spore, Rage Powder bullshit. We just don't want to be dealing with any of that, and then the Clear Amulet will allow us to shut down that Tauros Intimidate, which, knowing that most of my team is physical, he is almost invariably bringing. I decided to go with a mostly normal set, but I opted to go ahead and bring the Poltergeist because you can see the Poltergeist, not Poltergeist. You can see the Poltergeist later on my team. I'm sure you already know what that's going for, but since we are no speed investment, we are underspeeding a majority of his fast Pokemon. So it allows Cerule Edge to kind of function as like a mid-tier speed. It's going to be faster than Metagross, so we can just whack it with a Bitterblade or a Poltergeist, and it's going to be slower than Fluttermane, so we can hit it with a Poltergeist. And then if we're not in Trick Room, then we have the Shadow Sneak to do a bunch of damage. If it's no investment, then we kill it. If it is a little bit of defense investment, like a decent amount, then we don't secure the kill with Shadow Sneak, so that would really suck. Luckily, we do live, if it's not full invested into special attack, we do live a Shadow Ball. So that's really good for us. Overall, I think this is a really good set, and I think that Cerule Edge is going to serve us well. I think that he's probably going to come to a majority of these games unless he just built a team that is screw Cerule Edge. We hate that Pokemon. Other than that, I think he should be coming to a lot of these matches. Speaking of coming to a lot of these matches, we have Primarina. Pretty normal set. I'm not going to go over most of it. What I will go over is Aquajet and safety goggles. So safety goggles, that's not too much of a stretch. We need to be able to ignore redirection, and that's because we have Aquajet. Why do we have Aquajet? Well, overall, before I jump to the next Pokemon, this Primarina, it does normal Primarina things. It's Terra Steel because that is pretty good for us. Other than that, we're done here. You remember the safety goggles and the Aquajet? What is that for? We're jumping all the way over here to Colossal. This is exactly what I wanted to do into this team. I cannot believe I'm finally getting the opportunity to do this. Honestly, when I drafted Colossal, I knew it was a possibility that I might use it, but I wasn't sure if I would. Upon further inspection, Colossal actually does great into this team. What's the gimmick here? Okay, so we have Steam Engine. If you don't know what Steam Engine does, if you are hit by either a fire or a water move, then your speed goes to max. And max speed Colossal outspeeds max speed plus booster energy Fluttermane. Holy shit. Now, it doesn't really kill anything, so what does it matter? Who cares? Well, that's where Weakness Policy comes in. You see, Weakness Policy is actually insane. It's just really hard to proc. It's a +2 to either attack, not either, it's both. Attack and special attack, which is perfect for us because we are running both. Power Gem and Heat Wave is mainly what we're wanting to spam out here. We do so much damage with that, but Heavy Slam, so long as I have at least +1 one-shots, even the bulkiest Fluttermanes, nothing is living this. Man, I cannot believe I came across this. I'm so excited for this. I really, really hope this works. I so hope Colossal works because it's so good, but it's also so bad. Originally, this was a Terra Grass because it's going to allow me to deal with the most situations, but ultimately, I decided on Terra Fire. My buddy Owen, he recommended it, and while I really like the defensive Terras for the most part, I do end up agreeing that Terra Fire, being able to do a little bit more damage with Heat Wave, well, not just a little bit, a lot of bit more damage with Heat Wave, on top of the fact that I can Terrastalize and still get my Weakness Policy proc from Primarina Aquajetting me, whereas if I was Terrastalizing into a Grass type and I Aquajet, then I just get the speed boost. I don't get Weakness Policy. So that's kind of the idea here. We're just all-out offense, and final time I'll say this. Man, I hope this works. Next up, we have the Swampert. So Swampert is an AV set. I noticed that he has a... With Fluttermane, Raging Bolt, they're both special attackers. The rest of his team is mainly physical attacking, so it's not that he has a huge reliance on special attackers, it's just that his best Pokemon are. So I figured Swampert can come in, he could do some good. He's just going to be able to be super bulky, shut down all of that crap. I do know that the Tauros Paldea gets the Trailblaze, and Thwacky is also an option here, so I decided to go the Terra Poison to be able to shut all that down. We also have the Ice Punch to be able to deal with the Thwacky and the Gliscor if it comes. We also need a way to deal with a Moongus if it does not Terrastalize in front of us, and that's what Ice Punch is for. Otherwise, we're just kind of knocking it off and going like high horsepower if it goes like water or something. Pretty typical for a Moongus. But overall, yeah, just... This is pretty par for the course of what you'd see out of an AV Swampert, so don't really need to go too much into it post that. We have Poltergeist. This is pretty much no different except for one key thing. I decided that I was going to go Heat Proof with a majority investment in special defense. So with Heat Proof, we actually get to live a Flare Blitz from the Tauros Paldea guaranteed. And then on top of that, the special defense investment that I went with allows us to survive a Shadow Ball from a non-specs Fluttermane. So, pretty good there. Finally, the last thing that you really need to know about, other than this Poltergeist is completely normal, the foul play is particularly for Metagross. This does an insane amount of damage to Metagross. So if we're already with the Trick Room up, then yeah, this is going to just shut him down so hard. Now, the last Mon. Unfortunately, I just could not think of a other good Mon to put here. I was testing the Cottony. I tried to make this thing work. I've gone multiple different movesets. I've tried multiple different variations of how to get him in there, how to use him, and it just isn't working. I don't really know what to do with it. There are situations where it does great, but those are so niche that I just don't know that we're going to run into them. Let me go ahead and give you the rundown. He's Terra Ghost, so we don't get faked out, but I mean, I'm really never clicking that, because if we lose the Cottony, then all of my other Pokemon are way more important to keep. Poltergeist is the only support here that I might actually Terrasilize here, because if I think he's going to go not just the Flare Blitz, but also double into me and try to kill me, I might need to Terrasilize into a water. Cottony, on the other hand, yeah, no. If you get faked out, you get faked out. The Terra Ghost is just there to scare him into not faking me out. Obviously, Focus Sash, since we can't put an Eviolite on it, I mean, it really wasn't going to live with Eviolite anyway. Fake Tears is mainly to pair with Primarina, though if it comes out next to Colossal, it could be good too. If we just... we're able to just put a Fake Tears on somebody, drop their special defense 2 stages, we're just securing kills that we never had a right to secure anyway. So that's really nice. Next up is Taunt. Taunt is mainly the way I'm going to shut down Amoonguss if I am trying to do stuff with Colossal and Swampert, or if my Primarina's item gets knocked off. You can really tell Amoonguss was just such a huge problem in testing that I had to just tailor my team to deal with it. So that's what the Taunt is for. Misty Terrain is kind of similar. Originally, the idea was to shut down Spores, but I also noticed that Tauros Paldea really likes carrying the Will-O-Wisp. So I'd really rather Swampert not get burned, and it's not as huge a deal since we did not bring the Pow Knight this time around. But I mean, it's still good, and it also lowers the damage of Dragon-type moves, so I ultimately decided to keep it. And then finally, Encore, I mean, it's a staple of any Whimsicott and Cottony set, so it's got to be there. It's just super annoying to have that on a Prankster user, so got to bring it. That's the idea behind the team, and wow. A full team. We are staking our way into playoffs on no Pow Knight. It's bold. It is very, very bold. But I hope it works out. Let's get into the games. All right, here we go. Last match of the season, unless we hit playoffs. But, I mean, it's kind of out of our hands for the most part. Let's give it a shot. Oh boy. Very nervous about this one because I never like relying on cheese strats, stuff that doesn't necessarily, like, it's not supposed to work, because you're kind of relying on people not knowing the strat. If they know the strat, then they can stop the strat, and that's really, really sad. I told him I was going to record a little intro, so he might have tabbed away. I don't think he realized my intro is basically saying, here we go, let's do this. Okay, so for the most part, this is actually every single Pokemon I was expecting to see, except Metagross is swapped out for Rabombi. So, with that in mind, I do want to I want to check some stuff, because I do not recall. Give me another Showdown tab on my other screen. No, I'm not trying to do that. Rabombi. Do you get Rage Powder? You don't. Okay. We're running the Colossal Prim. I think I want Ceruledge in the back, because it does do some pretty good stuff. Alternatively, actually, no, not alternatively. We are going to do Ceruledge and Poltergeist. Oh, man. The options are Sweet Veil and Shield Dust, so it's probably Shield Dust. I mean, unless he was really thinking that I might run Sing on Primarina, he might try to go Sweet Veil, but I'm really not. Man, please tell me this guy isn't sitting here like, Colossal? I wasn't expecting that. Let me look up everything there is to be known about Colossal. Please tell me you're not looking it up. He asked for no timer because he's in public. I'm trying to respect that. But please don't look it up. Please. I need this to work. Here we go. Full Prim versus Rabombi and Amoonguss. He's Terra Fire, which is interesting. Rabombi is Terra Water. So they do both have a way to be resisting my Heat Wave. But even so, I think Heat Wave is what we're going for here. I don't know what he's attempting to do that's really going to stop Colossal from doing that. So we're just going to click it. Aqua Jet. You can try to Rage Powder me away, but it's not going to work. I am Safety Goggles. Switches. Sash. There's the Tailwind. I don't think Tailwind is going to be enough. I can check. Oops. I didn't mean to have that pulled up. Made a team for my buddy there. So we take the Steam Engine Colossal, we max his speed out, and we go Tauros, Blazebreed. Let's just assume he's max speed and then give him the Tailwind. Ooh, it's close, but it's not enough. Then again, this is Impish, so if he's Jolly, he might be faster, which would suck. So I mean, what we go for here, we actually could go for a Terra Fire. That would take our Terra away, which would suck. Might want to hold on to that for safety's sake. I don't want to just insta-click it. I think we definitely go Heat Wave. And I think we follow it up with a Hyper Voice. It is faster. Okay, so it's max speed Jolly. Unless he's like Scarfed or something. If he's Scarfed, that's another thing entirely. So he's going to be bringing out Amoonguss here. We know that for certain. He has not revealed his Terra yet. His last Mon, though, I'm not sure of. So I'm going to go into Poltergeist, and we're going to try to get the Trick Room going. Flutter Amoonguss. Okay. So we go for a Trick Room, and I think we just click Protect. Because we could try to get damage now, but I don't think it's important to get damage right now. He's actually, so it's good to know. He's, he could be Specs, actually. He's Specs. Okay. So he is Specs locked into Shadow Ball. So I don't want to Terra. I don't want to Terra here because then he's going to have the Sludge Bomb to hit me. For super effective. Instead, we need to pin it with a Shadow Sneak. And then Hyper Voice. What's your Terra? You Terra Fairy? You Terra Water. So no, we're actually going to Moonblast you. We got the kill. Eating a Sludge Bomb is gross. We don't like that. How much did it do? It did 49%. And you have not Terra'd into your fire yet. I don't necessarily want to reveal Poltergeist just yet, so even if you go Terra Fire, I'm going to click Bitterblade. Yep, okay. Your Rocky Helmet. Okay, so here I think we do have to go Poltergeist. Alternatively, who's been going first? I'm protected on that turn. Oh, what I mean, Amoonguss is actually going before Prim. That's huh? Oh, Tailwind petered out. Okay. So in that case, we Shadow Sneak here and we Hyper Voice. Because we're trying not to reveal the Poltergeist. Did I? Oh, there it is. Okay, and then our other mode that we want to go for here is Prim Poltergeist right off the get. And then I think I want to go Ceruledge Pert. I'm trying to look at what Pert does here. Trying to judge it. I do think that Pert can be good here. Here's Skitatoros. Okay, so he knows that I'm Terra Steel, and he could very easily close combat me. Both of them can close combat me, so we just don't Terra Steel here. We go for the Protect. And the Trick Room. I think what he's going to try to do, he's going to try to kill my Poltergeist with a... Hold on, cancel. Let's go 252 on offense and Polch my custom Poltergeist set. It is heat proof. With how much defense investments? Really just need to import this. Hold on. Import, copy, save to the left team. Yes. Yes. This. On max attack, I'm still not dying. I'm getting close, but I'm not dying. I just don't want to commit the Terra just yet. So we go Protect and Trick Room. That hurt. That was not very nice. So, okay, here's the question. Do we Terra here because he is threatening a poison jab into the Prim Arena? But he could also very easily just close combat me. Prim, Barraskewda. It threatens a 12% chance to KO at max attack adamant life orb. He's not life orb. We know that. So I mean, if he's choice banded, then that could be a problem. So instead what we could do is we can just click the Rage Powder and we can just give up the Poltergeist. I forgot he's Propeller Tail. He's also banded. We can confirm that pretty well now. Okay, that does cause a problem though. So he's banded Propeller Tail. I need something to threaten him. Choice band. I mean, yeah, that's killing him. I don't really know what Rabombi does. It has Tailwind and it has Bug Buzz. We know that much. High horsepower can miss, but it's, knockoff is doing it, unless it's bulky. And it's also not guaranteed. So yeah, we just don't risk that. We just go high horsepower. We try to hit it. We pray that we hit it. And we go Life Dew. Yeah, Intimidate sucks. Did some good damage on Tauros. Not a kill though. It is Citrus. We did know that. Bug Buzz, we live that. Okay. I wish I had a spread move here. It's really bad losing Prim. I don't think Tauros is getting any... it does get Trailblaze. It might do that, actually. Not combat. Yeah, he gets Trailblaze. That would do some damn good damage. How much did we do on high horsepower? 60, so it wouldn't kill. Okay. We go for another one, and we also go for a foul play. Damn it. I'm skipping to the end of that turn. He double protected. Okay. He's stalling Trick Room. So, do we go for it again? Or do we heal? I really want the kill here. Because leaving the Tauros on the field is just causing problems. All right. And then he brings in the Barraskewda again. He can lock in a water move now, and that would be scary. He has speed control again. Does he have Flutter in the back? What is he deciding between? Or maybe he's just taking a while because of like whoever he's around. He does have Flutter. Okay. I mean, we've already threatened him with Shadow Sneak before. He does know that. We go back. I mean, he was at 100%. We just killed him. We're also pretty sure that it's specs, if I recall. But it has to go for something here. It is kind of pinned in to doing something. I think we kind of just go for the greedy play. We liquidate the Robombi, and we Shadow Sneak the Flutter, hoping that it's just going to kill again. Terra Water. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Okay. Bug Buzz does like nothing. Special defense drop. No, bro. Oh man, I wonder if that's it. If the special defense drop did it. Because I am AV. Like, I should have been taking these pretty well. Barraskewda against my Pert. Yeah, I mean, he's doing good damage to me. Like when I Terastalize, Liquidation, I can't take two. So, I have to kill it. Yeah, and then Shadow Ball also 2 hits. Damn. Okay. Barraskewda is really being more of a problem than I had anticipated. But I mean, I'm curious if he really has an answer for the Colossal. So here's the fun part. This is what you're not expecting. I really want this to work out. Please let this work out. Oh god, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. So I mean it's neutral. Hold on. Tauros. I was thinking that it might be Scarfed. Did it use other moves? Like, did it switch around moves in the last one? I don't remember if it did or not. Here's what I'm more concerned about, though. At +2 special attack, Power Gem's not killing. Heat Wave is definitely not doing anything. So, in that case, I think we can still go Power Gem, and then we could Hyper Voice. Yeah, I think that's what we'll go for. Oh my god, it killed. Bro, Colossal is going nuts. Okay, now this on the other hand. Barraskewda is banded and it has a Tailwind. 376 versus my... Okay, yeah, it's faster. It's faster. Alrighty. What if we do this? Protect, and we Moonblast. Nice. GG. We took it because of Colossal. Oh my god. Oh man, I should have done that 2 times in a row. I think with a 2-1, I don't think we can hit playoffs. Yep. Damn, bro. I mean, there's a world, I guess. It's a very, very, like, I was already saying at 2-0, the stars have to align. But they could. At 2-1, I don't even know of a world where I make playoffs. But I mean, we got to celebrate a victory. That's like, whether we make playoffs or not, we did good. I want to talk about it. I'm not going to record the I'm not going to record the breakdown until later. I want to know exactly whether or not I made playoffs. So I'm not going to record it until I've seen the full results of everyone's games. So I will record it and I will let you know then. So I will see you probably in like 3 days after this got recorded. I don't know. See you then. Alright guys, we're back. It has been a few days since my match. And well, we got some stuff to talk about. I'm not actually going to talk about how the games went, because I have a lot to get to here. Though, I do want to make a brief little mention. Using Colossal was really fun. I did not expect it to go that well. That was hilarious. I loved that. You know, I got nothing against Fair. I'm not laughing at this because of him. But, man, Fluttermane has been dominating the meta. Has been a nightmare for so many people. So to take Colossal of all Pokemon and just shut it down, hilarious. Awesome. Moving on. We need to talk about, did we make playoffs? Because at the end there, you saw, I wasn't very sure. And the truth of the matter is, there is actually a very possible, maybe not so plausible, but possible world where I could make it. Now, obviously, I do have the answer because I waited until I saw what the answer was, but I want to take you through the whole saga. So, let's cover this. First things first, you need to know how the system works. I'll cover this very briefly. Basically, this isn't strictly a win or loss ratio system. At the end of the day, I ended 3-5. Not a great record, but in all 5 of those, except for one, so 4. In 4 of those 5 losses, I took a game off of my opponent. Why is that important? Well, that's because this system is based on points, and you are awarded points based on how well you performed in the match. So, if you win against your opponent 2-0, you did not lose any match or any game in that match, then you are awarded 3 points. If you give up a game, then you only get 2 points. If you lose the game, but you manage to take 1 game off of your opponent, then you do get 1 point. So it's a little something to keep you in it. And finally, if you get 2-0'd, you get 0 points. So, with that in mind, suppose there was a tie, let's say. Somebody had the same win record as me, and we ended up at the same amount of points, which is actually something that happened a lot. This was a very close race. This would be decided by differential. Differential is decided by how many Pokemon you had remaining after the match was finished. Notably, I had great differential because even though I was losing quite a lot, I was bringing it very, very close. So, at the end of the day, my differential tended to be greater than those who I was in contention with. That's very important because 6 total teams were all battling it out for the final 2 spots to make it into playoffs. There were 16 teams in total and only 8 could make it into playoffs. The first 6 of them had locked their spot. They were good. But the 2 final spots, 6 total teams were in contention for them. They are yours truly, the Norian Duskblades, sitting at 9 points. And then, from descending order, the Star City Spirits, led by Grisman, who happens to be the league commissioner, who had 11 points. Next up is the Golden Go Warriors, led by Clay Xavier, who had 10 points. Followed by the Eureka Espions, led by Stitch, and he also had 10 points. And then finally down to my tier, who is also populated by Pizza Guy, who leads the Caribbean Suns. They had 9 points. And also the Sacramento Slagoos, led by Mollusk, also 9 points. So, it is worth noting that every single person on this list, I had either better or roundabout equal differential with. So if I tied with any of them, then I beat them. We had a reasonable shot of making it. So let's go ahead and cover what exactly happened in this final week. Who won, who got what points, and who made playoffs. On the screen now, you will see the opponents for each week. Notably, 2 of these teams are actually playing each other. So, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. So the very first match of the week was actually my match versus Fair. So when I was very confused at the end of the video, you could see why. I actually didn't know how any of these games went. So, to cover how that went, obviously, you saw what happened. We did not 2-0 them, which means I only made it to 11 points. There's still hope, but so many more things need to fall in line for me to make it. It's really unfortunate that I didn't 2-0. But we got the 2-1. That's something. We're in the running. How did the rest of it go? The next thing that happened, Stitch played against Shoutout, and he ended up losing that game 1-2. But he did get a point, so is he in it? Unfortunately, no. This puts both Grisman and I ahead of him thanks to our differential, so he is officially knocked out. Next up is the battle between Clay Xavier and Mollusk. One of these two was going to beat me out in terms of points, no matter what happens. Whichever one of them won their game, they would ultimately pass me in points. So, who won? Clay Xavier managed to win 2-1. Mollusk is now knocked out, and Clay Xavier has actually taken a spot above me. This puts us in a do or die situation. As it stands, thanks to my differential, I currently outrank Grisman for the spot. But he currently has the same amount of points that I have without playing his final game. The only possible way that I can beat him is if his opponent 2-0s him. If he does, then I will usurp Grizz for the spot. But that's not all that needs to go right. Pizza Guy has yet to play his match versus Havenly, who, by the way, is a Twitch streamer, so you should go check her out. Link in the description. Anyway, Pizza Guy's differential is also bad, so long as Havenly can take even a single game off of him, I will beat him out for playoffs, because he'll tie me. So that's the scenario. Grizz needs to lose 2-0, and Pizza Guy needs a single game taken off of him. That's it. Both of these games actually ended up happening around the same time. So, I'll announce the results at the same time. Between Grizz and Pizza Guy and their matches, the winners of these two matches to determine if I make it into playoffs or not are... Unfortunately, both Grisman and Pizza Guy won their matches 2-0, placing both of them into playoffs and knocking both myself and Clay Xavier out. For anyone who is curious, if I did win today's match 2-0, then I actually would have clutched the final slot of playoffs. Damn. Well, that's not all I wanted to talk about. So we're past the game, and we're past making it into playoffs. Now I just want to take a look back. This is my first ever VGC Draft League, and Draft League in general. I've never done anything really like this. I mean, the closest I did was the Choofty League back in the day, but it's not really the same. This is a very different beast, and adding content creation on top of it, it was a lot. It really was. So, what do I think of this whole experience? Well, I actually think that this went great for many of the reasons that I listed before. I learned a lot in this league. So much of this was stuff that I could never have learned just spamming out ladder or even doing VOD review with a coach. It's just, it forced me to look at this game in an entirely different way that I normally wouldn't. I just had to open my mind to so many different possibilities that I think that this has really started me down the right track of true understanding and mastery of not just team building, but also general preparation and just playing the game. It was a lot of work, but ultimately, I think that I'm a better player because of it. And I actually think that you can see that going through the season. I think watching my performance in week 1 and comparing it to my performance in week 8, I think you see a different side of me. But that's not all. I had a lot of fun doing this. This brought me in touch with a hobby that I have been neglecting and struggling with to engage with for a long time. And on top of that, I actually made a lot of new friends with this. I'm really thankful that I got brought into this friend group, and all of this just because I attended a Vegas regional and happened to chat with the guy next to me in line. That's all it was. It just so happens that the guy standing next to me was Stitch. I talked to him, he was a friendly guy, he invited me, and here we are. So many new friends because of it. And that's not all. It's not just the new friends. It's the old friends too. I actually want to make a big shout out here. Huge shout out to Owen. And no, not the Owen that you may be thinking of if you're familiar with the Pokemon scene. My friend Owen. A big shout out and thanks for helping me out with mocks every single week. I know you're busy and this isn't exactly your biggest and most interesting hobby, but even just taking the time out to battle with me with teams that I just throw at you, it just helps so much. And even if the game ultimately ended in a loss and, maybe we didn't prep the right team, maybe we didn't come to the right solutions, at the end of the day, I walked into those games so much more confident because I knew I have run this 20 times already. Just knowing that I've played this before, it's just so much of a confidence booster, and I really got to thank you for that. And speaking of confidence boosters, another big shout out to Nick for pretty much being my biggest fan through this whole thing. You watched every episode other than my match versus Ret King, and you know what? That's okay. You can skip that one. But anyway, you've also had so many encouraging words to say along the way, which has just been a huge motivator to keep this rolling. I don't think that I've really communicated this well enough, how much work this is for me. I know that there are so many people out there that produce higher quality videos that obviously took way more time and way more dedication. That doesn't really change that for me specifically. This is hard and this is a lot of time. So keeping motivated has been extremely difficult. So having someone sit down with me, watch these videos, and just appreciate them live in front of me is pretty much all I could ever ask for. So a huge thank you. But that's not all. I also have some thanks to give out to some very special partners. The ones who did all the heavy lifting. I think it's time to give out some rewards to my ace Pokemon. I have 3 rewards to give out today. The first is the Comeback Kid Award. I define this as the Pokemon who had the roughest time to start out, maybe throughout the whole competition, but ultimately made a comeback and really carried their weight. And I would say that the one who deserves this reward is Ceruledge. Ceruledge kind of had sort of a bell curve of usefulness. To start out, he was actually extremely useful in my Game 2 match versus Zardichar. And if I had learned to leverage that a little bit better than I did, I think we would have won that game. And Zardichar, I'm pretty sure, only lost one match this whole season. It was kind of crazy. But anyway. Cerulean Edge from then on kind of tapered off and had a hard time being useful. And truly, I think that was mainly because of user error. I kept switching him into things that he just had no business coming in on. And he really suffered for that. His performance was dwindling. But near the end, he came back and he really was useful. So I really can't stress how much of a help Cerulean Edge ended up being at the end there. Even if he didn't come out in the actual games themselves, when I was doing mocks, Cerulean Edge was just constantly a threat that was dealing with so many problems. I really don't think that I would have been nearly as confident going into those matches if I did not have him as an option, even if he just sat in the back and ultimately never came out. The fact that I had him and was ready to deal with threats when they came out was such a huge help that ultimately this award goes to you. Next up is the Hidden Gem Award. I define this as a Pokemon who I figured would be a good addition to the team, but truly I never expected to perform this well. This Pokemon just exceeded all expectations and ultimately led to us doing as well as we did. This award goes to Swampert. What can I say? Swampert has been abused by the sands of time. Not only has his stat spread definitely been reminiscent of yesteryear, but on top of all of that, when the time finally came to give this Pokemon a good hidden ability to revitalize him and bring him back to the forefront of competition like he deserved to be, they gave him Damp. Yeah, he really suffered. I mean, Regenerator, that could have been something. Maybe Water Absorb? Just something. But no. Damp. Swampert, unfortunately, is just an okay Pokemon. But let me tell you, he decided that okay was not enough. He showed up to this league like he had something to prove. And you know what? He did. Oh, and by the way, this is the kill leader chart at the end of this whole season. Swampert's there. He made the chart before playoffs. He proved something. And really, that's all I gotta say. Swampert was our hidden gem. But you may have noticed that I censored a little something on that kill leader chart. And that's because it's time to talk about our MVP. Now, given that this is doubles, I found that this is only fitting to give this award to a pair of Pokemon that carried the most weight throughout the season, not just the individual. I do want to give an honorable mention to Chien-Pao and Dragonite. You two did great things, and one of the things that you did best for me was something that goes unmentioned. It's not something that you physically see, it's just something that you know is happening. Chien-Pao and Dragonite being such a powerful combo on my team forces my opponent to overly prepare for them, which means other Pokemon can come in and shine. So, At the end of the day, does Chin Pao and Dragonite attracting so much attention ultimately mean that they're my MVPs? I think not. I think unfortunately they just didn't carry enough weight, and that could have been user error. But at the end of the day, was one pairing that stood out above all the rest. The Nohrian Duskblade MVPs are Primarina and Poltergeist. These two were monsters. Primarina ended this season with 24 kills. I don't know what to say. The cat with the sword coming out of its face couldn't even manage to get remotely the same amount of kills as Primarina. That's not all. We didn't even make playoffs, and yet Primarina made the top 5 kill leaders in the league, beating out the Sylveon, who had 0 deaths for a majority of the league. That is insane. Now, I've talked all about Primarina's praises. What about Poltergeist? Talk about an all-star. A 2-pointer carrying this much weight is astonishing. Now, yeah, Poltergeist didn't get all the glory. He didn't end up on the kill leaderboard. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he ended up... Oh, I don't know if he ended with a single kill. I could be wrong. But anyway, that wasn't the idea behind Poltergeist. Poltergeist was there to support, and whether it was Primarina or Swampert, he was there for it. Twisting up the room with the Trick Room or keeping people alive with Life Dew, there was just so much weight that this 2-point Pokemon was carrying that I just can't believe that he was this low on the draft board. And let me tell you, if he is that low again, you can expect that he's probably making the team again. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. So, a huge thank you to my friends, a huge thank you to my partner Pokemon, and a huge thank you to all of you for watching. So what's next for me? Oh no, we're not done with the VGC Pals Draft League Season 2. We still have playoffs. I know I just said I'm not in playoffs, but we're not done with this league just yet, as I am going to VOD review every single playoff match. All of it will have my live commentary and initial reactions to all of it. That's going to be 2 videos. The first episode dedicated to the quarterfinals, that being 4 matches, and then the final episode being a culmination of both the semifinals and the finals. So stay tuned. I'll see you then.